What's good, YouTube? This your boy Money Mitch TV, just coming to you straight off the hip. Man, that epic game that came on last night, the Golden State Warriors versus the OKC Thunder. That was a epic game until the second half, where it just went down from there, where Kevin Durant and the Warriors have just steamrolled through that team, the OKC Thunder. Kevin Durant had an amazing game, so did Stephen Curry. Had a pretty much a mediocre game. That's what Steph Curry had. But my take from it was, man, the Brody himself, Russell Westbrook, has the petty card of that day. He was holding the petty card. I promise. He was so petty. It's kind of like this. Let's just say you're playing Uno with one of your friends and you got the Uno card, the number one card, or the last card of the game. And that one petty friend pull out that draw 4 card and make you draw 4, and then turn around, make you draw 2 after he selects the color. That's how petty Russell Westbrook was, by wearing the photographer vest, and the vest says the original photographer. But anyway, the game was quite entertaining, but until the second half hit, that's when it was, it started going downhill from there. But overall, it was a good game, although it ended out in a blowout. You'll see this in February, which I think that will be the next time they play, in February. And in that game is going to be in Oklahoma, so get ready for that game. Also, I have a thought. I was thinking about, speaking of the Warriors, the thought was about super teams. And the thing with super teams and how they were formed in the last 5 to 6 years, last 10 years, there have been super teams that was formed. Let's just start with the 07-08, the Boston Celtics with Ray Allen, KG, and Paul Pierce, and then picking up Rondo that same year. And then turn around, you have LeBron's team. And the team that LeBron had with D Wade and Bosh, and then the second LeBron team, the Cavs with Kevin Love and Kyrie and LeBron. Also, this Warriors team with Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson. And all these teams, were built based off of free agency. And I know a lot of people was saying, oh, Jordan couldn't do this, Barkley couldn't do this, Reggie Miller couldn't do this back then because it was too competitive. And here's the reason why. Like, those players in the era of the 80s and the 90s couldn't form super teams because of salary cap money. If you actually think about it, before the 1984 season, the average NBA player was making less than maybe $500,000 until the new collective bargaining agreement in 1984, which that was the draft class of Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and other Hall of Famers that was on that great draft class. And it was perfect timing for that draft class, because that was the first draft class where they got over $500,000 in salary yearly on their contract, where players was just making $500,000 in 2, 3, 4 year contracts. And if you think about it, like, if you go through the salary cap history of the NBA, there wasn't enough money to be spread around for super teams to be formed in the 80s and the 90s. Like, I'll give you this. In 1984 and 85 season, Michael Jordan was making less than $600,000 a year. And then that was the same year where maybe Charles Barkley and other players that was drafted was making less than $500,000 to $600,000 a year. And then that next year, 1985 and 86 season, Jordan made $630,000 a year, which in those years, the NBA salary cap in the 84 and the 85 season was $3.6 million. And then in the 85-86 season, it rose up to $4.2 million. So if you think about it, if Michael Jordan had a $500,000 a year around that time, there wasn't going to be enough money to spread around for one franchise team. And if you're thinking about throughout the 80s, it was all the teams' salary cap was less than $8 million a year until the 1990 season, where the salary cap rose over $10 million for a whole team, not one player, a whole franchise team, $10 million salary cap. So how it was possible for super teams to be formed? And that was the reason why, because at that time, free agency wasn't that good. There was a lot of rules and other factors into free agency too. So, and it was just kind of crazy. Where, think about it, if Jordan, Bird, and Magic decide to all play for the Lakers, that team would have had to trade away Kareem, James Worthy, Michael Cooper, AC Green, Byron Scott, and Michael Thompson. That would have been half of their team being traded if you had to bring in Bird and Jordan to play with Magic. So that's one thing. That's a factor why there were super teams that was never formed. Now, I did say on the video a week ago that the Lakers was a super team in the 80s, and the reason why, because they built their talent through drafts and trades. If you think about it, the Lakers was known for finessing other teams for players. How they got Michael Thompson on a sweet deal, then turn around, get James Worthy on a sweet trade deal, then draft Magic Johnson in a draft class in 1979, then turn around, get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on a sweet trade deal, and then still manage to pilfer Byron Scott and get Michael Cooper, another top 10 pick at that time. And that's how they was forming their super team back in the 80s, was through the draft. And the Boston Celtics was doing the exact same thing. Think about it. The free agency period wasn't that great for players to join other teams. So teams had to kind of, pretty much play the system by building their teams through trades and drafts. So that was the way how they did it. And then if you think about it, around like the 2010 season, the salary cap was $57.7 million. And yes, LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh all signed $20 million deals, but at the same time, people forgot the Miami Heat, those years when they had those players, was well over the salary cap, and it was way in the luxury tax. So when it was in the luxury tax, it was killing them, but by winning championships and going to the playoffs, they was pretty much breaking even for those 4 years. And then I'm looking back in the 07-08 season when Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett formed together, salary cap was $2 million less. It was at $55 million. So if you start thinking about it, around the 2000s, that's when the salary caps was getting up from $34 million all the way now, where we at the $94 million mark. So the more money that's being, dished out to the players, the better the chances that there will be super teams to be formed. So, and that's my analogy on why there wasn't no super teams back in the 80s and the 90s, because the money. Now, if you think about it, if I'll take 1 year, if the Lakers had a salary cap of at least $15 million back in the 80s, best believe you would have heard Magic Johnson recruiting Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. Although they quote unquote hated each other on the court, but it was all friends off the court. But best believe if it was money involved, and if Dr. Jerry Buss, which was the owner back then, would have told Magic, I need you to go get Michael and Larry, Magic would have done it. Because the money is involved, which is more money. So that's my analogy. And also, if you look in the next 5 to 6 years, salary cap is going to go up. This year's is $94.1 million. Next year is going to be $102 million. Then the year after that is going to be $108 million. Then in the 2019 season is going to be $109 million. Then the 2020 season is going to be $114 million. It ain't stopping there. And after the 2020 season, it's another collecting the bargain agreement. And that in the 2020-2021 season is going to be the most important season in the NBA, because the collecting the bargain agreement, where they're going to decide either to keep the salary cap the same or bring it back down. Now, there's rumors that they might bring that salary cap back down by a few $1 million to pretty much even everything out. But this is going to be like the golden era of super teams. So don't be surprised another super team is going to be formed based off money. But at the same time, you're going to see a lot of mid-level players. It's going to get paid superstar money. So just like this, Alan Crabb got $72 million deal. That's the new term, the Alan Crabb deal, which you a 3-and-D guy, you're not a superstar, you're a decent role player, but you get superstar money. The Alan Crabb deal. That's what I call it. That's what it's gonna be. A lot of players getting that type of money. But anyway, like, subscribe. Put your opinion in the comment box. Tell me what you think about this theory about the super teams. This your boy Money Mitch TV, and I'm out.